Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's me, Mitch, live from sunny Melbourne, Florida. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. Let's get to it. As usual, drink it if you got it. Wow, that's good. That's good. Good morning, everybody. Good to see you. Good to see it. Active in the chat. People are piling in. 60 people so far. 59 actually. Wow, good to see you. Good to see everybody. Today may not be as smooth as I usually am. I may not be as professional. I may make some mistakes. And there's a real reason for that. No, I'm not drunk. I haven't hurt myself, done anything. But I'm doing something and we'll see how it works out. In stroke recovery, occupational therapy is very important. And occupational therapy doesn't necessarily have to do with occupation. It has to do with regaining the functions and things, basically the finer motor skills. The ability to dress yourself, which I've got down pretty good now. The ability to regain the use of your hands, arms, things like that, which is very important. And the biggest challenge for me has been the right arm and the right hand. And up until today, I've had to use the computer mouse with my left hand. And I decided this morning that I need to combine Morning Coffee with Mitch with my occupational therapy. But sometimes therapy is clumsy. So you guys, I hope will understand. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, here I am. I have moved my mixer further away. Further away. I have to reach for it now with my arm. I can't, it was here, but I moved it further away. I have the mouse over here, which I can now use with my right hand. I can scroll up and down the chat, for example, but it's an effort and it's tiring. And there are times, and I did a little work on the computer this morning and used the mouse in my right hand. And there are times when, I won't say it cramps up, but it kind of gets stiff. So I have another mouse over here, my left-handed mouse. This is really strange. And I can scroll with that as a backup to use. But I'm going to really endeavor today to continue to therapy, working with my right hand. And because I just regained the ability to really control my hand and arm enough to finally move that mouse pointer around, because previously that thing was jumping all over the screen whenever I touched the mouse, and reach out further for the mixer. So when I want to do sound effects now, I can do them with my right hand and adjust volumes and things that are getting back to normal. So little by little. I want to thank everybody who watched my little 2-part stroke recovery mini series. The comments were very heartwarming, and I enjoyed reading most of them. So, Rockin' Keto Amy says, question, what live stream software do you use, Mitch? Is that OBS? I use a couple of things in combination, Amy. I have OBS over here. OBS is the software that I use to feed StreamYard, which is the actual broadcasting software. And you can do a lot of this in StreamYard, but what you can't do is create these different scenes, like this scene, and like this scene, and like this scene, and scenes that involve my different computers. And I have, at push buttons, I have access to all those things by pushing these buttons here on something called an Elgato Stream Deck. So between the Stream Deck, the OBS, StreamYard, the mixer, I basically have, maybe not as sophisticated, but I have available to me most of the tools that a professional broadcast studio on TV has, and it's not all in one place. Now, it's pretty complicated, and I've been doing this for years, and I don't recommend anybody start out like this, but live streams, for me, are the lifeblood of my channel. It may not be the biggest money makers, but they're certainly the lifeblood of my channel. I enjoy doing them. I like the way I can communicate with this. Now, this, even though I have the chat running here, I can use the StreamYard window and actually put the chats up on the screen, which is why I have two chats. One of them, I kind of keeps my place when I got up to welcoming people and talking to them. And the other chat, which I'm showing you over here on the right of the screen, which is actually going by as it's happening in real time. I can glance over at that every once in a while and get a feel for what's going on. There you go. Everything you probably never wanted to know about the control room of TV broadcasting. Amy says, yes, I use OBS too, but I haven't figured out how to feed it to another software. Basically, it's very simple. I don't want to make this about tech support, but there is a setting in OBS that says start and stop virtual camera. It's a push button under the control settings. It says, and you start a virtual camera. Then you go into whatever software you're broadcasting from, like StreamYard or something, and you go into the settings, and it asks you for the source of your video feed. And one of those things should show up and say OBS virtual camera. And you click on that, and bango, whatever's showing on your OBS screen appears in your StreamYard window. Pretty neat, pretty neat. So that's enough of that. That's enough of that. We got 75 people here so far. We can get started with the show. And let me get back to my right-handed mouse because I'm really going to try to do this. The tendency is always to take the easiest way. Recovery and therapy requires you to consciously always take the hardest way. That is not normal. Not normal. And Rocket and Amy is thanking Lewis for telling her what the virtual camera was for. Well, all right, but I think I did it too. Thank me. I think Lewis jumped in before I actually answered it. All righty. Hi, Lewis. Good to see you. Let me go in here, and I'm going to put a banner up here today. Crass commercialism. It's going to be my Amazon links. I ask you for your help in pushing me over the top this month so I can get a little bonus from Amazon. If you're going to buy anything from my links, I'll put it up there, pin it at the top. Or you just want to see what I use and shop on Amazon. Or you just want to buy something else on Amazon, click that link. Go to my page, links and stuff I use, click on anything. Once you're in the Amazon window in your browser, you can go shopping, and since I brought you to Amazon in that particular session, they will pay me for everything you buy. It doesn't cost anybody anything. I like it. It's a win-win situation, and it only requires that basically you say, okay, I'll do that because I like this. I appreciate Mitch's hard work. I like this so much better than having to beg for coffees, honest to God, or super chats. The bad part is it only works at Amazon USA. So unfortunately, it's too complicated to try to set up you have to set up separate deals with all the different international Amazons, and I would need a full-time bookkeeper for that. And there's not enough money to even think about doing that. So we just keep it to the United States. And I thank everybody for using them. You have to keep talking about this stuff to get one or two people to actually do it. I had yesterday, for example, from my page, I had 250 clicks. People actually clicked on one of my links 250 times. Out of that, my total commissions for the, I think, 30 or 40 orders that actually came in was $12. So it takes just a tremendous amount of activity to get people to place an order because people shop. They keep clicking. But most of them, probably less than 10%, actually end up ordering anything. And the commissions are so low on all the orders that in order to make the people that can make a living on this have to have million subscribers on YouTube and have to be one of these deal channels that are everyday. The 10 best deals at Amazon today, and they can make a good living. For me, it's just like coffee money. Maybe it pays for my internet access for the month, but every little bit helps. So I do appreciate the effort, especially when you guys buy expensive things like cell phones and things. Then it could add up. But most of the stuff that people are buying from my links, other than the few appliances, are gadgets, $10, $15 gadgets. You know, the commissions of those things are less than $1 or more. But, you know, it does add up. But you got to keep telling people about it. All right, let's see who's here this morning. As my right hand scrolls to the top of the stream, first one in last night was Smoothie. John, how you doing? Mitch, have a good night. This is last night. Mary M was here last night. And Proud America says, see you in the AM. Next one. And I am using my right hand here. Wow. Work. It is work. Proud American. And the next one is Nikki W. Good evening to you at 9:06 p.m. Wayne Herman chimed in and Mandy Beddoes chimed in at 10:06. Hi, Mitch. See you soon. And Rick is here. You already got your quack for the day, Rick. See you tomorrow morning. Carnivore Police at 11:30 from Yorba Linda, California. Grandma was here. How you doing? See you in the morning at 1:14. Sandy Bly checked in. Wow, Papa Carnivore checked in at 5:14 a.m. Wow, Peter. I get up about 5:30 today. I consider that sleeping in. Got up and had my first cup of coffee, decaf, drank some electrolytes, sat down, watched Skilts for a little while. Came in here. I had about an hour's worth of work to do for a customer of mine. Did that and set up for the live stream. You also, what I go through every morning, if you watched my video yesterday. Mike Silly chimed in early. Yes, and me, Cool Cat. Loved your stroke recovery video. You are going strong, and Carnivore is definitely playing its part. Thanks for letting us be a part of it. Thank you so much for that. Very nice of you to say. Today, I'm having lunch with my son. You've seen in the videos that I've made what I go through when I go to have lunch with him. We're going to Sonny's barbecue again. Today's going to be different. Today, there's going to be no Kane, no Walker, just me. Mike will be by my side. Something should happen and I start to lose my balance. He'll grab me. But I am determined like you wouldn't believe, to get back to what I consider normal or close to normal, and just be able to walk from here to there without having to plan it all out logistically. Just get up and just do it. So it's going to be interesting. I'm not going to photograph it. I'm going to live my life. I'm not going to chronicle everything, but I'll tell you about it tomorrow, how it went. But I think it'll go fine. I have enough. I'm getting my stamina back. I'm getting my energy back. And I'm not going to overdo it this morning. Before I go, I'm saving it all up for that lunch. Be able to just walk at a normal pace, swing my arms properly, get to the restaurant, get in the restaurant, get to the seat, and then when I'm done, get back out again. I'm sure it'll go fine, but it is every day is a day of new firsts. Today, working the mouse with my right hand. So you have to do that. If you're recovering from anything, you got two choices. You either get up and, like Dante says, just do it, You got two choices. Either take the easy way, feel sorry for yourself, and lay there and die, or get the whip out and be hard on yourself. I think more people take the easy way. I can't do that. So we're continuing to go. Rick was here at 7:01 this morning. Grandma chimed in this morning. Amy, 7:52. And I'm scrolling. I'm scrolling a little slowly here. Sybil. Good morning, Sybil. How are you? At 8:02. And Aaron chimed in. Aaron is here with us this morning. Who else is new? Sandy Blythe. How you doing, Sandy? How are you? Coming up on 8:30. Main Runner. And I saw it flash by where Main Runner introduced herself. And I saw her name go by, but it didn't register. But I'll get to it. So I like to know the first names of people with handles that don't have their name in it. You can do what Rick did, is put it in parentheses. Here comes Main Runner. And CB's with us. How you doing, CB? Good to see you. Tina Schweikerath is with us. Lori Weitzel joined us. How you, Lori? Present and accounted for. Yes, ma'am. And who else is new? Everybody's starting to say hi to each other. Here we have Steve Rogers, Captain America, still at 8:26. Said hi to you. Michael Prigler's here. How you doing, Michael? My eating's back on track, but this is killing my wife. I can imagine, Michael. I can imagine. And it'll get, I guess, better from here, but it never goes away, I can imagine. Never goes away. Same thing about my parents. I live my life and I'm happy and I do everything, but there isn't a day go by where I don't still miss them after 35 and 40 years. So it's life. That's life. Claudia Burkick is here with us at 8:28, and my scrolling is a little slower using this right-handed mouse, so you'll excuse me. But I'm bound and determined to try to get through this live stream without bailing out to the left-handed mouse. I'll leave my left hand free to drink coffee, which is very important. Or, even more important, take a swig of my electrolytes from my Thermos. I had a comment yesterday on the video about the Thermos. It says, since it's stainless steel, don't electrolytes react with and basically dissolve the metal? And yes, there are cases where sodium, potassium, and magnesium might eat up a stainless steel, but I can only tell you from my personal experience. I had this thing for 3 years. Been using it every day. I fill it full of something like electrolytes. I think I made my first electrolyte video 1.5 years ago. Every day I fill it full. It's diluted in 40 ounces of water. If it's good quality stainless steel, it won't happen. And I got to tell you, after I got that comment, I said, well, let me take a look. And I really did a good look inside this. There is not a hint of pitting corrosion. It is as shiny and smooth. I put my hand in there, finger in there, felt it, as it was the day I got it. So I don't think that there's anything happening inside of this thing, and I'm confident that I'm going to continue to drink out of it. That's supposed to be what stainless steel does. It's made of steels that it's very high nickel. These things do not corrode and do not rust. Now, if you poured battery acid into this thing, yeah, it'd probably tear it up. But I like questions like that because they make you think. Mike Lowe is here. I am Mike Lowe. Morning. Good to see you. Good to see you. We got to 8:30 yet. No, Brian Dish chimed in. How you doing? And we have, there's Lewis. Hello, world, says Lewis. Hello, Lewis. And although, well, wait a minute. Yes. Lewis is our winner. Oh, man, very clever, Lewis. On the ball this morning. Good to see that. Followed right on his tails by Marla Kelly, Don Shager. How you, Don? How are you? Lorraine McDermott from Down Under, and followed by Smoothie, Rick. Tanya's here, Kitchen Witch. Hiya, Tanya. Good to see you. Bacon Baby, all the usual suspects. DS111, Hurricane Mitch. That's me. Like a twister. I'm like the Roadrunner. That'd be a great sound effect to have. The Roadrunner beep. Beep beep. Remember that? God, I remember. I used to love those things with him and Wile E. Coyote and the Acme company that used to supply them all kinds of crazy things. That was great stuff. They don't make stuff like that anymore. Somebody would find something in it to be politically incorrect. I guarantee you, we have lost our collective sense of humor in this country. I notice that more and more every day. And that is so important for good health and a good state of mind, because the opposite of that is just being bitter and angry about everything, which, again, is taking the easy way. So I try to stay up. I try to stay by. I let things annoy me. I do let things anger me, but I dwell on not the anger, but just shake my head as an observation about the absurdity of some of this stuff, as if I could do anything about it other than get together with 100 or so of my friends in the morning and try to be happy. But even I go to the dark side. We all do. Only one person I know never goes to the dark side. That's Kelsey. That's Kelsey. I admire him for that too. I'm sure he has a dark side. He probably just does not let us see it. Me, I'm an open book. All right, we got through that at 8:30. We got Lori again and Lewis again, and Gina Cav is here, and Peter chimed in at 8:30. Amy, check back in. Aaron, I'll just get through this. Lewis again. Who is this? This is, oh, I remember you from Silent Samurai. Ken, I remember you from yesterday. Welcome back. I did remember the name, see? And still at 8:30. Wow, Lori and Amy again. I'm not reading these, it's just acknowledging them. Michael Pregler, still 8:30. Max D, holy cow. Brian Dish, and Lizzie is here. How you doing? Pat Acosta was the first one here at 8:31. Okay, guys. put a QQQ in the chat. We'll try to answer anything. The worst that could happen if you ask me a question that I don't think is appropriate for me, or is my place, or I just am ignorant on whatever the subject is you're asking about. I don't mind telling you. I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't know. Admitting what you don't know is a fabulous trait in human beings. Not to be a know-it-all, to be perfectly willing to say out there in front of God and everybody, I just don't know. I don't know. None of us, how smart we are or how experienced we are, long we've been around, knows a tiny fraction of everything there is to know. That's for sure. That's for sure. You can't be ashamed of that. Can't let your ego get in the way. And I would rather have somebody say to me, I don't know, than concoct some kind of guess, which may lead me down a path that isn't really that good, because I might think the person knows everything. So in that respect, we have to, I think, not be afraid. IT says, not mistakes, just happy accidents. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do today. Probably going to have some happy accidents. And you guys are well into the conversations now. Josephine C. chimed in. How you doing? Lewis, that's great progress, Mitch. Wow. Thank you, Lewis. Still got a way to go. And we got to the place where Amy asked, what software do we use? And I gave you a little tech support, aided by Lewis, who obviously knows this stuff too. I'm waiting for Lewis to start live streaming. Why not? Everybody else does. Lorraine says, very professional. Love that you're a techie. I've always been a techie, all my life, technology, computers. In fact, it was my knowledge of, real knowledge of how computers do their thing, down to the register level of the processors themselves. I used to do, back in the old days, Z80 machine language programming, and it gives you a real understanding. And if you have any curiosity, and you're a kind of thinker that I was blessed or cursed with, the first thing you start doing is looking at the similarities about how the human body and brain works. And you start comparing the functions of memory in a computer with the functions of memory in your brain, the functions of nerves, the signaling, coding. And you realize that we are organic computers. That's what we've become. And there's so many similarities, it makes you really have a deep understanding of the programming of the human physiology and what DNA does. And that's when I started really looking into that. And I've been studying genetics ever since long before they decoded the human genome. But we did know that DNA was nothing more than code. And it has a language. And that language is a 4-base language, whereas computer code is a 2-base binary. Same thing. And the code is read through machinery, and it's acted on, and it does stuff. And that demystified the human body to me right off the bat. That happened 35, 40 years ago. And since then, I have been finding more and more analogous things between the technology and the human mind. And as the technology keeps advancing, and as they can put terabytes of data on a thumb drive, on a micro SD card, when they can start shrinking this stuff more and more, you get a much more wondrous, wondrous picture of what's really going on in the human brain, where memory is actually shrunk down to the molecular level. And the amount of data we can store at that level is astounding. To have a cell phone with 500 gigabytes worth of storage alongside all the cameras and equipment and screens and radio receivers and GPSs and everything else in a cell phone, miniaturized like that, and saying to yourself, well, even at the level that we've miniaturized that electronics, we are still probably orders of magnitude bigger than the equivalent type of functions that we have organically. And eventually, we will figure out how to duplicate it and attach AI to it, and then the machines take over. That's the scary part of it. That's the scary part of it. Sorry about that little departure, but you know me, I like to philosophize on things. Where are we in the chat now? We are talking about Peter grilling a giant T-bone. Yes, Peter, just like the day before and the day before that. Rock Amy, I used to be a computer programmer. Yeah, anybody that has some idea of how computers work is going to be fascinated by technology, and eventually is going to start see how technology just mirrors organic biology. We're just now getting around to it. Loretta says Boolean logic. Boolean logic is my jam as a librarian. Wow, my first wife was a librarian. How about that? Terry, she has a dentist appointment. Disappointment, she's not relaxed. Cool. Cool. I see in the current chat, Charlie Faircloth has chimed in. Hi, Charlie. Ellen's here. Oh, got the hiccups again. Ellen is here. Hi, Ellen. Good morning to you. Good morning. I have no show notes to talk about today. I'm just going to do my thing and look for the questions. Let me get back to the old chat and see if I can come upon a question. I'm not going to spend a lot of time reading the old chat. I get bogged down in that, and I can't do it. I want to get to the questions, but yet I need to be finished as close to an hour on these morning things as I can. Don't see questions. I am up to 8:50. Wow. That's only 10 minutes behind. That's what happens when I don't stop and read everything. But I do watch the replay, and I try to read as much of it as I can as it goes by. Tuka's here. How you doing, Tuka? Good to see you. Tuka, I need to talk to you, my friend. You sent me that thing. You sent me your AI-generated diet from Grok4, which is Elon Musk. And when I see Elon Musk, I say to myself, I don't know if that guy's diet is all that great, but his AI, I'm sure didn't get its information from him. And the first time, Tuka, you told me about it was on the Sunday morning, and I said I'd look at it. Well, I didn't realize you were going to send me a half a day's work. I can't do it. I'm sorry, my friend. Twice I tried to start doing it. I had to download that document that you sent me, read it, analyze it, and try to give you advice on it. And everything that I would say to you in responding to that, I have said 100 times on live streams and in video. You know exactly what I think you should do. My mind will not be changed by something an AI suggests, because I understand how that works and where their knowledge, I use the term knowledge, comes from. And intelligence and knowledge are two different things. Knowledge is the ability to parrot out something that somebody told you. AI does not have original thoughts. It's starting to do some reasoning, but it still only has the data it has access to. The data it has access to, as far as nutrition, is primarily propaganda, which is why when you say, ask Google, what is a healthy meal, you'll get it right in the face. Low fat, no meat, fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and it's all propaganda. As this stuff has the ability to tap into more and more, and people allow it to be used to teach AI, which they don't want to happen. The powers that be do not want artificial intelligence thinking that meat is the best thing. As these things get stronger, they may get more accurate. And yes, if you ask them the right questions, you can steer them to tell you, eat meat. But they're not intelligent. They're not close to a human. Believe me, they may be able to do things faster, access more data, think about more things in microseconds, and make it look like they're smart. But just Google or ask Google AI a general question, you will get the propaganda back. And then you can force it, maybe, to fine-tune it. But you're not going to get 100% agreement with what I would tell you out of my experience, and I admit that I may be wrong. See? I may be wrong, but I doubt it. But I always allow for the fact that I could be wrong. I've changed my mind on many things during the course of my life. And with diet, is always something new to watch and consider. And you have to always weigh it. Yeah, that's great. Do I really need to take? You know how many people have told me that I need to take methylene blue in order to recover from my stroke? Well, I'm not going to do it. How many people told me I have to take creatine? I have to take vitamin B12. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to do that. No. Nobody can do all of that. How do I know that some of that stuff wouldn't hurt me instead of help me? I'd rather just take nothing and let my body do what it's going to do. I think that's the best chance I have to recover. I stopped looking for the magic pill, the wonder drug. There's no shortage of those things, no shortage of people that want to sell us those things. I'm not going to live forever. And I've come up with my own way to recover from a stroke. And yes, I may be missing something, but I am done with the professional advice. These professionals, well, you know how I feel about the medical community. I don't trust any of them. There's a few doctors that I see on YouTube I might trust, but God, with what they've done to me and my family over the years, and the pain and suffering that has ensued due to bad advice, which I think is the number one cause of death in this country. I've explained that to you. Statistics tell us that medical mistakes account for the third leading cause of death. I posit to you that all heart disease, most cancers, most mental illness and dementia is a result of bad medical advice. So don't blame the heart disease. Go back to the root cause, why the heart disease is there, and it all makes bad medical advice the number one cause of death, followed only, as far as I'm concerned, only by old age. And whether you get good or bad medical advice, sooner or later, old age is going to get you. So In Mitch's statistics about the leading causes of death, there are two. And number 3 that comes in is accidental death, which includes everything from car accidents to gunshots, which pales in comparison to the numbers of people that both die from bad medical advice and old age. That's my logic. That's what I call critical thinking. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. But if you say heart disease is the first leading major cause of death, you have to say, well, why do we have heart disease now and we didn't have it in any numbers 100 years ago? And the answer is overwhelmingly bad medical advice, and I include nutritional advice in that same category because it comes from the government in the form of medical advice, what to eat, what you should nourish your body with. It's absurd, and it's simple, All right, where was I? Question: how are you, boss? Says Stuga. I am fine, fired up, raring to go. I have a nice lunch with my son today. I found a great documentary. I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's 2 years old. It is so good. It deals with addiction. Well done. Well done. About 1 hour long. I'm going to recommend it to you. I'll put that out this afternoon in a little video. You're going to love this one. I'm telling you. You're going to love this one. Most people think some of these documentaries, obscure ones that I managed to dig up, can't be good. But these are things that I find to my surprise, because I talk a lot about addiction, I find to my surprise they are actually saying the same things. I never claimed to be the first person to have invented some of my beliefs, but it's always nice to find a really well done documentary that even talks about the same things that I always talk about, that our ancient programming is where our addictions come from. They take it even as that deep. It's great. And for me, it just cemented my beliefs even more. Books and beef. Ellen says, yes, books and beef used to be meatitudes, and may become meatitudes again when Google lets her change it back. That's Loretta. I'm not sure I really like this change in names, because that'd be like changing your real name and none of your friends know who you are anymore. Hey, Mark Wessler. How you doing, Mark? Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. And I am 13 minutes behind, so let's just keep going. This is great. Mark Wessler, Mitch, what are your thoughts on parasites? Well, what do you mean by parasite? A parasite is one organism that kind of partners with another in some kind of a symbiotic relationship where one of two things can happen. It can be beneficial to both the parasite and the host, or it can be harmful. At any given time, the healthiest human being on the planet probably has trillions, not just millions, but trillions of parasitic organisms living within him, without which you could not live. The first example, historically, evolutionarily, of what we consider a parasitic organism was that fateful day about 550 or so, and maybe even, I've even seen people claim it's been 2 billion years. But no matter how long ago it was, we have no way of knowing for sure. But all life on this planet prior to this event was called prokaryote. It was a prokaryote cell. And prokaryote cells are single-cell organisms. We have, God knows how many of them, each one of us still have them today. Amoebas are single-cell organisms. Bacteria, single-cell organism. We have in our body trillions of these things. We have them everywhere. Every square inch of our skin is covered with them. The thing about an organism is it has two basic functions in life. Eat this and crap out that. And that's where the problem is. Eat something and as a waste product. Is that waste product something we need? Does it help us? It's why some foods ferment, because one of those little bacteria eats it, metabolizes the sugar, and craps out a fatty acid. If not for that process, we wouldn't have steak, because that's how a cow makes meat. So they're all parasites. Now, there are parasites that are bigger than a single-cell organism, and they can hurt you too. There's things like tapeworms, which are considered a parasite. So that's that's a very general question. And there's nothing you can consciously do to say, well, what do I do to get rid of parasites? Because you don't want to. You have to be very careful. You take an antibiotic, for example, to kill some bad bacteria that's in you that's making you sick. You're liable to kill all your good bacteria in your gut and create problems too. So you have to be mindful of that every time your doctor says, oh, just go get a Z-Pack. Pretty soon that stuff's not going to work anymore. So that's a great question with pretty much no answer. But those are my thoughts on it. I'm pretty aware of it. I was telling you, and I'll get on to the next thing, that all single cells were single cells until one fateful day, one of those single-cell bacteria ate another one, which is what they did. I mean, this basically living things eating living things is not new. It's where most of the nourishment came from. And one bacteria kind of ingested another, but an amazing thing happened. It didn't absorb it as food. The other one took up residence inside the first one. And it was a little different, evidently, or something jived out of the almost infinite number of times a bacteria ate another bacteria. This one had something just a little different in its programming. This is how evolution works. And it turned out that the second bacteria that got gobbled up by the first one kind of started producing energy for the cell. And the cell, not that they had conscious thought, but it was beneficial to the cell. Beneficial. So the code that each of these different things had managed to benefit both of them. And when the cell reproduced, the thing inside it reproduced along with it, and a whole new kind of life was formed called a eukaryote cell. And here's the part that people don't want to believe, but it cannot be anything other than this. Every living thing that is not just a prokaryote, every living thing that we know, every plant, animal, multi-cell organism, blade of grass, leaf on a tree, vegetation, every single one of them can trace its ancestry, including you and me, back to that first eukaryote cell that's referred to by the scientific community as LUCA. LUCA. Last universal common ancestor. And in that respect, treat the tree outside with respect and kindness, because that tree is a far distant cousin of yours. And if you don't believe that, can I tell you, there is no other explanation, and every species, every bit of life in the tree of life can be traced back to that first cell that ate this bacteria, and that little bacteria that it ate became what we now have and know as mitochondria, the basis for all the energy production in just about every living thing. And that mitochondria still has its own DNA, different from the DNA of the cell that it's in. And we renamed it now to be an organelle. And each one of our cells has hundreds of mitochondria, and it's these mitochondria where the cellular respiration happens. The food comes together with the oxygen, and the energy, ATP, is produced. And we know this for a fact. I think every human being should be awestruck by the history of how we got here. That's how we got here. And I won't debate whether God was involved in that or not. You know, you people are the ones that told me God is 6,000 years old, not me. I don't believe that. I believe, like Kilstos, that God is a force that's been around since the beginning of whatever and before. And we can't know it, we can't define it, but there obviously is something. It's in the energy, it's in what we're learning now about quantum stuff. So that's why I don't argue religion with people. Like everything else, everybody's got their own story, and I envy people that gain comfort and believe in certain things. But in reality's sake, the only thing that actually makes sense to me is what I just told you. So that's it. Mark, tremendous question, man. You didn't know you're going to get all that, did you? All right, now I'm behind. I hope you guys don't mind me doing that stuff, because that's the stuff that's important. That's the stuff that's reality. That's the stuff that you can use to explain all the things that we don't understand today. Let's see. Ellen and Rick, everybody's talking. More questions. You made me think twice before you ask me another question like that. But, here's a real question. Francine, not just a question, but 15 Qs. Old guy Mitch, I heard that the heart is only 15 to 20% of the force that pushes the blood through the body. What about the 90% inquiring minds want to know? Well, do you know that the walls of your arteries are muscles? They're muscles. What other tube do you have in your body where the walls act like muscles? And you can squeeze a tube and ripple down, squeeze a tube, and it will push what's in it along. It gives it a boost. Your whole digestive tract is like that. Well, that's how the food gets through your intestines and eventually comes out of your body, is that there's no pump, basically, like a heart is, pushing food. It's pushed down by a ripple effect from the muscles in the walls. And the arteries, more than likely, and I don't know if it's true that the heart only does 15%. I'm just talking about in general terms. If that's true, and whatever percentage the heart does, is irrelevant, then whatever the heart doesn't do is helped along by the muscles in the artery walls. I've never read that, I've never looked at it, never heard it, but it just makes sense. And we do know that the artery walls can expand and contract. They do it all the time. That's what blood pressure meds do, some of them. There's many different ways to lower blood pressure. One of them is to dilate the arteries, make them fatter. The second one is slow the heartbeat down. That's what beta blockers do. So doctors know this, and that's something they do know as fact, which is true. They're not wrong there. They can get your blood pressure down, but it requires medication. How do we get our blood pressure to be normal without medication? Well, quit eating poison. Quit eating plants and seeds and grain oils. Very simple. We're all proof of that. Good question, Francine. Very good question. I hope that answer made sense to you. And if I'm wrong and somebody thinks I'm wrong, let me know. Like the shirt says. I may be wrong, but I don't think so. It's one of my favorite shirts. Okay, I'm falling behind again, so I need to speed. I want to go try to get through this today. I hope you've found today interesting. We're almost at 9:30, and I think it's better that we keep these things to an hour and don't overdo it so people don't get tired of it. If I only came on once a week, like Rick does, I'd probably go all day because I couldn't say everything I wanted to say in just an hour. But there's always tomorrow. Always tomorrow. Oh, we're having Ellen says, parasites are good for selling cleansing programs. Yeah, it's absurd. Just leave it to the human race to figure out some way to make money on it. And it's great. Making money, there's nothing wrong with making money as long as the quid pro quo is something positive, as long as you're doing somebody some good for the money they're paying you. But there's so many scams. Oh, my God. We never knew how many scams there really were until social media came along. Do you know how many? I get 10 of them a day now, 10 of them every day. Sponsorship offers. Some of the wildest, non-appropriate crap. And they're all scams. They're all liars. Dear old guy, we love your channel. We watch all your... Yeah, bull. You know, come on now. They insult your intelligence and people fall for it. Promise you, you can make big money doing this, big money doing that. No, you can't. What you do is you lose all your good viewers because they're getting tired of you trying to scam them all the time. But am I upset? No. I'm happy. I'm a happy guy. But I haven't seen Gary No Slow for a while. It makes me worry, says Stuka. I don't know. Where is Gary? Where is Gary? I didn't see him today. Question, Mitch. Barry Simon. Does it make sense that the closer you get to eating raw meat, the less meat you need to eat? Well, I don't know about that, Barry. It does make sense, doesn't it? But if you think in terms of just simple mathematics, like efficiency, is it number one? You have to say to yourself: is the premise true? Is the premise that the more raw meat is, the more nutrition you get out of it? That's a separate question, but it answers in. It's like efficiency. It's like a car. It's like a car. If a car burns higher efficiency fuel, will it need less fuel? And the answer is, of course, because the car needs to somehow create X amount of energy to propel the car a certain distance. And if you can use a more efficient energy to make that car go the same distance, yes, you would need less of it. That would apply to nutrition for us. If we need X amount of amino acids, a finite definable number of each amino acid. And we get our amino acids from eating meat. How much meat do we need in a day in order to get that amount of amino acids to be properly nourished? Okay? So the question comes in, do I get more amino acids per gram of meat when I don't cook it than I do when I do cook it? That's the hotly contested debate. And without knowing that for sure, I can't answer questions. But hypothetically, you can say, yes, of course. The more nutrition you get from a given weight of meat, the less of it you need to eat, because you do have to have a certain amount of nutrition every day. I can't give you a definitive answer because I can't answer that first question. Barry, I hope that answers it for you. And it really is a great question. I ask myself that every day. Do I have to eat more food because I'm cooking it than I would have to eat raw? I do. I ask that every day. I just haven't. I'm not convinced because of our ancestral history of 1 million or more years cooking food. And the fact that we find cooked food so pleasurable, and looking back at evolutionary pressures that say anything beneficial to the human body, at least before we got too smart, that created an instinctual drive, like, I like the taste of that. Well, there's a reason for that, and that somehow was an evolutionary benefit. So I can't rule out, I can't believe or buy into the fact that you got to eat raw meat. Sorry. Okay, I can't buy into that. I'm probably biased for that because I enjoy cooked meat. So I'm trying to make kind of a concession. Maybe I'll cook a little less, but I'm going to a barbecue joint with my son today, and we're going to have brisket, and it's going to have burnt parts on it, and they're the best part. And I'm still alive and recovering from my stroke, so obviously I'm getting nutrition from somewhere, and my concession right now is, okay, if the meat I'm eating and cooking it the way I am is 20% less nutritious, I'll just eat 20% more meat, and the end result will be the same. And my digestive tract might work a little harder. That's logic. That's how my logic works. And you constantly fine-tune it as you get more and more answers that you think might be definitive, and you can believe as being true and not just somebody else's dumb idea, of which there are many. So that's a great question, Barry. Thanks so much for that. Appreciate it. Coming up on it. When I get the questions. Tuka, hey boss, if you got Gary's email, no, so maybe it's not. Yeah, but I don't. You have no idea what my day is like, Tuka. Honest to God. From 5 o'clock in the morning until 9 or 10 at night, I don't stop. I work. I don't relax. I work. Even when I'm sitting, take an hour to watch stuff on YouTube, I'm researching things. I don't have time to give you. You guys do it. Let me know in a week if you haven't heard from him. He's entitled to a day off. But what am I going to do? Email him? And then he doesn't answer me. We worry more. Or he says, I'm okay, and I'll tell you he's okay. But wait a couple of days. I saw him a couple of days ago. People are entitled to disappear for a couple of days. I don't have the time. I'm just like, Scott, I don't have the time to read all that stuff you sent me, and I feel bad about that because you're a good friend. But I cannot be your one-on-one personal coach or advisor. I can't do that with anybody. There's too many of you and only so much time. If I put myself out there as a coach and had consultations for $50 or $100 an hour, that's fine. That's what people do for a living. I don't have the time to do that for free. I want to, but I can't. Or it affects my health. In my recovery, I can't do it, Tuka. If I get a spare minute. Remember, I've got clients that I work for, customers who pay me, that have to come first. Last night, at 10 o'clock at night, I got an email from one of my biggest customers throwing 2 hours of work on me that had to be done before 10 o'clock this morning, and I got it done. That's what I have to be doing when I got some time to relax, because I get paid for that. The day that comes when I can make just livable money from doing YouTube, I'll give up that other stuff. But I can't. I find myself coming on here begging for coffees. That is demeaning to me, and I don't like it. I'm ashamed of it. And I know you guys care about me. I really do. I know you do. Francine says, thank you for your answer. I hope I gave you the right answer, Francine. You're welcome. It makes sense to me, and I do know that that's how so many things are propelled through the human body. Something squeezes and pushes it. It's either an organ or a pump, like the gallbladder is a pump, or it's carried along by a ripple effect of muscles in the conduit themselves. That's how digestion works. There's no pump in digestion, really. There's basically just stuff moving through the system, and it gets propelled by peristalsis. I believe that. That is the medical name for that in the digestive tract, but I might be wrong. I don't try to remember every medical term. It's irrelevant. I try to remember the processes and be able to describe them. Who cares what name we gave them? They've existed long before we came along and named them. They will be nameless again when we're all gone. It's like people naming stars. Do you think the star gives a crap about what we name it? Or feels any identity because we name it? Beetlejuice? It doesn't know. Do you think Saturn knows his name is Saturn? We are such an arrogant, full of ourselves species. We think we're so important. We are a pimple on a pimple in this universe. And that should make each one of us humble. It really should. Oh, Gary showed up. Gary, good. See that? No slow. Back to the old name. Oh. Well, it was Booby Biscuits. I didn't know that you didn't know that. He's been around. That's why I wasn't worried about him. Okay, Gary. No slow. Good to have you back. Mark Whistler. Okay, Mitch. If I'm hearing you right, the best way to get rid of Parasite is to change the channel. Well, no, there are parasites that are harmful, and they do have drugs to get rid of parasites. And in order to find out, you got to unfortunately consult the medical community. And there are conditions you do need treatment for. I never said you can't go to a doctor. I'm saying let the doctor stay out of your metabolism. Anything else, fair game. They're mechanics. They're mechanics in that respect. I need them. I needed them to, even though it was their fault, I needed them to cut my head open. I needed them, although they didn't do me much of a service, they did some service because I wasn't dying from this stroke. Sometimes I actually think that if I just lay there where I fell and not been so, and of course you can't do this, you got to go to the hospital, you don't have any idea, but I wonder if I'd have just left it alone, if I would not be better off today. Of course, I could have been dead today. You can't take the chance. It's like the guy when he cut my head open, he said to me, I said, well, what are the chances? I had a big hematoma. What are my chances without you cutting my skull open and taking it out? And he said, well, about 50-50. Do you want me to do the surgery or not? He said, now, are you going to bet your life on that? No, none of us would. and I didn't die, but I did suffer a lot of consequences, and I think the stroke was one of them. So there you go. Wow, I'm already 10 minutes over time. See, there you go, folks. Got to start it, wrapping it up. Play a little happy music as I scroll down through the rest of the chat. Look for the final questions. I got it right to the bottom at CB Carmack. If you want to know what kind of person he is, Google Daniel Carmack and Holly. Who is this? Sorry, Tuscan, Alabama, the home invented 81-year-old man. Oh, God. Yeah, so you see that stuff on the news every morning. There is nothing, no depths too low that the humans don't find new ways to sink to. Terrible, terrible. Thanks for coming, everybody. Had a good time this morning. Had a good time. Pontificated a little. I hope some of that meant something to you while you chatted away. Glad to see you're all here. Gary, don't change your name again. Stick with No Slow. Everybody knows you and loves you under that name. At any rate, everybody says goodbye. Say goodbye to each other. Let me scroll down to the current chat. Francine says, oh, there we go. Okay, everybody says goodbye. Ellen says, have a great Tuesday all. Terry Sue, see you in the morning. Smoothie, have a good day, everybody. Jackie in Indiana, thanks. No Slow Mitch, take the rest of the day off. Would that I could. Till tomorrow. And Meathead. Kurt says, hi, everyone, eat meat and be happy. Yes, ma'am. Peter, see you all tomorrow. And with that, my friends, I'm going to take my right hand. I'm going to put it on the mouse. I'm going to let you watch. I'm going to put it on the mouse. I'm going to go up here and click this button that says End Stream. It's up here, right there. And it's going to say play audio and in the stream. Gives you a second place. So I will tell you, take the rest of the day off and eat meat, and I'll push the big orange button.